Today we're tackling one of California's biggest homeowner hazards, the insurance crisis. I'm Keith Walker, and today I'm lucky enough to be joined by Larry Klapow, CEO of NETCLO, producers of Property Insurability Reports, and Shannon Ellison sharing the homeowner's real-world perspective. Let's dive in. So Larry, homeowners are seeing their insurance policies dropped or premiums even doubled, and it's now blowing up real estate deals. What exactly is happening?
Okay, so Keith, that's a fantastic question. So the insurance industry is starting to buckle under enormous pressure. Let me share some statistics with you. In 2023, in the state of California, 6.9% of the real estate transactions fell through due to insurance issues, either cost prohibitive or simply uninsurable property.
Wow.
Last year, that number almost doubled to 13.4%. So to put it into perspective, that would be roughly 38,000 deals in the state of California that did not close last year because of insurability issues.
That's staggering.
Now, they've added an insurance contingency last year into the car purchase contract. I suspect now that it's being tracked even closer, that number is going to go even higher by the end of 2025.
Wow.
Core reasons: wildfires causing unprecedented losses, skyrocketing rebuilding costs, the price of lumber just keeps going up, and mostly insurers are pulling out of the state. They simply can't do business here because they lose money for every policy they write. Future risks under old regulatory models are not working anymore. So it's easier for the companies to just leave high-risk markets, which we live in, altogether. So here's the thing, insurance, it can't be a last-minute box to check forever. We dealt with it at the very end of close. It was almost an afterthought. It must be handled up front now. It has to be dealt with at the time of the listing or as soon as the property goes into contract. This homeowner has a chance to make repairs if necessary. Buyers could shop around if they need to, but these things take time. And so let's get to it up front and make sure you're not one of those statistics that doesn't close at the end.
That's crazy. I can tell you even personally, I've had my insurance dropped. I've had my insurance company leave California. I've had good friends that lost their houses in the fires. So it's a real thing.
It is a real
and
thing.
It's happening.
And they're checking on you now a couple of months before your policy renewal. It might not be uncommon for them to fly a drone around your home.
Wow.
And see what's really going on, your defensible space and things like that. They're serious about this.
Wow. Sounds serious. And it sounds like a huge impact. Yeah. So it's not just about rising premiums. It's now stopping thousands of families from buying homes or moving. Is this mostly a California wildfire story?
Well, they're the headline, but climate change is expanding in its other risks as well. It's not just fires, it's storms, it's floods. It's not just California, it's nationwide if you look at the Southeast especially. But California's on the front lines, and the markets just can't absorb these losses and pay everybody under the current rules and structure.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, Shannon, let's bring this home. How is this really hitting everyday families and buyers?
Well, we've seen families scrambling after being dropped, sometimes calling 24 insurance companies. Most end up on the California Fair Plan or as a last resort coverage, expensive and far from comprehensive. Some buyers can't close escrow because lenders now demand proof of insurance, and if you lose coverage, you risk losing your mortgage.
Wow.
It isn't just about cost, it's whether you can even get coverage at all.
And that's terrifying. You know, you could lose your home even if there's no disaster simply by losing your insurance. Larry, what's the state, specifically Sacramento, done to try and fix this?
Yeah, you talk about the insurance commissioner. Well, the state has tried emergency moratoriums, temporarily halting cancellations for disaster zone homeowners. The big reforms in 2023 and 2024 are giving insurers new tools. Now they can start to use forward-looking catastrophe models to price risk in to the policy. They're allowed to pass through reinsurance costs as well, and the rate approval process is being sped up. So the idea isn't to let insurers price risk more realistically, even if premiums go up, in return for them writing more policies across California.
Okay.
So the commissioner is basically saying, take on more high-risk areas, and we'll be a little bit more flexible on what you can do with the pricing of those policies.
Okay.
But it's a balancing act. Rates go up, but hopefully coverage will remain available. It's just getting more expensive.
The hope is stability, right? But it may mean higher premiums for the most exposed areas, correct?
Absolutely. Otherwise, we'll see more carriers start to exit. The FAIR plan, which is the state-provided insurance, it's insurance of last resort, it's on overload.
Okay.
It is buckling under its own weight right now.
And then, of course, we're also seeing then more failed escrows.
Absolutely.
Right. Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get actionable. Shannon, what can worried homeowners do?
Great question, Keith. Start hardening your home, fireproof roofing, defensible space, and upgrades your insurer recommends. Look for Safer from Wildfires programs for discounts, work with brokers who know specialty carriers, and budget. Insurance costs are going up and have to be part of your long-term plan.
If you end up on the FAIR plan, you need to make sure that you get what's called the difference in condition policy. The FAIR plan is barely covering the reconstruction of the home. You're going to need at least one or two other policies that account for your contents of the home and to pick up the gap where the FAIR plan will leave you short in a lot of cases. Again, it's a policy of last resort. Remember, have your insurance handled up front. This is why we urge you to do this when you start the purchase process, not at the end. Get your NETCLO Property Insurability Reports that I produce, and it'll show you all the red flags. Buyers, sellers, agents can see this. Nobody gets blindsided at the end.
This is the defining challenge for California homeowners, and it's not going away soon. Address insurance upfront, leverage experts like NETCLO, and use data to avoid surprises. Larry, Shannon, thanks for cutting through all the noise. I'm Keith Walker again. I'm here to educate and navigate, not speculate and fabricate.